Hey guys, welcome back to the video guys. Today I'm going to react to Zach Taylor's press conference after we just lost to the Pittsburgh Steelers. I took some time to kind of cope with the loss, get through it. Watched the Monday Night Football. You guys have not watched it, don't. Because the first drive, the Chargers went right down the field in the Ravens. Justin Herbert goes out of bounds, gets absolutely smashed out of bounds by the Ravens guy. They don't call a flag. And then instead, they actually call unnecessary roughness on the Chargers, which gives them 15 yards back and forces them to kick a field goal. Ravens go 3 and out. They punt the ball. Chargers guy goes to fair catch it. Bam, Ravens guy runs right into him. No flag. Even the, head of officials said, that should have been flags on both plays. It's beside the point. I stopped watching Monday Night Football because these refs absolutely freaking suck. So let's listen to what Coach has to say, and as always, I have the questions on the screen and his answers. I also have increased audio for all the reporters. So let's get it.
Biggest keys to the Steelers getting out of there with a win today?
I think it started out how we assumed it was going to. On a day like today against a team like that. First half 7-3 coming in the end of the half, and just what I talked to the team about is, when we get opportunities, ball in the red zone, we got to come away with points. We get an opportunity at the end of half to maybe pin them down there deep as opposed to touchback and let our defense get a stand and get the ball back. We got to take advantage of it. And then when we do pin them down there, at the 11-yard line, we can't let them pop out on the first play. And so I think you just look at the entirety of the team there, and there were some situations that we certainly could have handled better that in a one-score game, can end up being the difference. And credit to Pittsburgh, they handled those situations, and I thought we could have done a better job of that today.
All right, so I'm going to kind of break down that first one. First off, I disagree with a lot of his takes on this. And the reason why I say I disagree with here, because a lot of our problems in the beginning of the game, 7-3, was the fact that offensively, our plays, we weren't doing anything. Now, our line sucked the first drive, okay? That is not on Zach Taylor. That is not on the coaching. That is not on the play calling. Our line could not block or catch a cold, okay? It was horrendous. But after our first drive, we started moving the ball down the field. We started doing things. But it seemed like every single time, our play calls were just absolutely garbage, as they always seem to be. And that really is what killed us in that first, half pretty much, was we had 2 field goal chances, 2 drives that could have been field goals. And both drives, we end up punting the ball because we get stopped. Both drives. That is where play calling is a problem. Because those drives didn't get killed because of the fact that, we got sacked or our line sucked or we just couldn't do anything. We were moving the ball in both those drives. One of those drives came after an interception. But yet we could, interception, a fumble, my bad, not an interception, a fumble. And we just simply could not move the ball. So you can't tell me 100% that is just, oh, yep, that's just how it is when you play Pittsburgh. No, that's how it is when we play every single opponent. And how it was when we had Joe Burrow in there. And the last 4 or 5 weeks has been like that. Every single week. It's like, okay, well, we have a drive. It looks like good. We get a turnover. And we can't do anything with the football. It's just zero accountability, man. Zero accountability.
Zach, why was Freiermuth able to have such a...
He made some one-on-one plays. I thought that there were a lot of times we were tight in coverage, and there were some times he's over the ball in zone coverage, and they put it on him, and he goes down quickly. So, again, we'll watch the tape and see really what the issue was there.
First off, I just remember another point. In that game, right, we ran the ball 8 times. Now, in Zach Taylor's credit, they did stack the box nonstop every single play, so it's hard to run the ball when they stack the box every single play, right? But how many trick plays, end arounds, misdirection plays to be run in this game today? Our offense was the most vanilla offense humanly possible. You can't tell me it has nothing to do with, you're playing Steelers here, right? You're playing a tough opponent with a good defense. How do you beat that? You have to do something unique and special.
How much of the inability to run the ball really hampered you guys, and what was the issue in the run game?
Yeah, that's life versus Pittsburgh, and it's that's what's going to happen. It's going to be tough sledding when you run the ball. We need to get more production out of that. It takes the pressure off the pass game. That's what they rely on. They rely on taking off the run and being able to rush the passer and putting you in known passing situations. And so we got to do a better job. just managing the drives as we go and putting ourselves in a little bit more advantageous situations. Obviously, if you can put yourself in a situation where you call more runs and you're not in 2nd and 10, 2nd and long, 3rd and longer, you can get more runs off. Then eventually some of those runs start to get you bigger gains. And we didn't get an opportunity to get enough runs off.
But whose fault is that? Whose fault is that you didn't call the correct plays and you called a very vanilla offense and really did do exactly what Jake Browning said please don't do, which was dumb down the playbook for him and acted like he was a 3-year-old child out there? Who did that? Whose fault is that, Zach? I think it's the person calling plays. That's whose fault it is. It's the guy who's calling the plays. That's you, buddy. You're the one who was supposed to get more run plays off. Because what Steelers did in this game was they stacked the box. They said, we're going to make sure that Joe Mixon is not going to beat us in this game. You're going to have to beat us through the air. You know how you stop that game plan? You know how you defeat that game plan, Zach? Is by passing the football. Why was the passing game not going, Zach? Because I saw a line after the first drive actually looked okayly decent. It can't all be on Jake Browning first start. I know he wasn't perfect, and I know there was mistakes he made, and I know he wasn't the best thing out there. And I'm not going to sit here and argue that every play that failed was Zach Taylor's fault. But there's a lot of play calling I did not see in that game that we have ran in other games, and it has been absolutely absent in that game, which is when we needed it the most, that's the type of game we need. Why can't we have an end around Tyler Boyd throws the ball? Why can't we have a trick play with Jamar Chase? You're running vanilla offenses and expecting and getting confused and like, whoa, what? That didn't work. Like, yeah, you're calling the most vanilla offenses possible. What do you expect to happen?
Volume an issue right now in the run game.
We only had 40 plays, I think, and you're going to look at a lot of them as 2-minute and 3rd down. So at the end of the day, you just got to look at normal down plays, run and pass, and we tried to do our best to keep some balance there, but there wasn't a lot of opportunities in this game.
What's your confidence level in Joe Mixon right now, Zach?
Very high. This has nothing to do with Joe Mixon. This is the entirety of the unit coming together, and so don't make this about one person. It's not like there was missed opportunities there from what I could see. He continues to run hard, and he's given us what we needed this season.
What did you think of Jake's first third?
What's that?
Jake Browning's first third.
I thought he handled some things really well for us, and it's a tough task to play a divisional game versus a good defense in your first game. There's going to be plenty of things he can learn from. I told him just welcome. This is just the first chapter in his story, of getting to play a real football game and getting a chance to assess his performance and rebound and move forward and still have all the confidence in the world in Jake.
Was Chase Brown able to run the ball today, or was it?
We just didn't have any opportunities. Mixon had 8 carries. And so you take away 1 or 2 of those, and he gets 6. So again, we need more snaps. We need to get more first downs that give us more snaps. That can be defensively, getting them off the field a little quicker, so we get more possessions. But at the end of the day, I think the offense has got to find a way to generate more production, get points on the board, keep the defense off the field, and take some of the pressure off of them.
Why aren't you utilizing Chuck Sizzle, Zach? What's the point there? Is there a reason why you're pissing away his career? You drafted the guy in the 4th round. He was expected to be the replacement for Tyler Boyd. Guy is getting no snaps. I want to say this is a game he might have had 1 or 0 snaps. Did not have any snaps in, last week's game. He had 1 snap in last week's game. Why are you not utilizing him? What's going on there? And to your point of, we didn't have enough snaps to get Chase Brown the ball. You do realize you can use Chase Brown in the passing game too, right, buddy? You don't have to just use him in the run game. He's also was one of the best pass blockers in preseason. The guy can pass block, the guy can catch the ball, and he can run the ball. So you can't say, we didn't utilize him because we didn't have enough plays. If we're going to give Joe Mixon the ball, he only had 8 chances. Yeah, but Joe Mixon was also on 40 plays. So why wasn't Chase Brown on any of those plays? There's no reason why he wasn't. For some reason, you're not utilizing your rookies. And if you don't utilize your rookies, you're going to be really in a bad spot when you realize, dang, players are leaving and we don't have the rookies to back them up because we didn't utilize them. That's a problem. You have to start utilizing the guys you drafted. Those are the guys are the future of this football team. You can't sit there and say, we didn't have a chance. Yeah, they had a chance. We had a chance to utilize them. You didn't utilize them. There's a difference. It's not we didn't have a chance. We had a chance. You just didn't utilize them.
There were some penalties. Looked like there were some miscommunications. Can you pinpoint why that's been happening and how you can fix it at this point this year?
The ones that stand out to me, there's no PI. That's a bam play. We are going to be blocking downfield after the catch. It's just a timing issue of when you can do it. And I think they dropped a defensive end, and so it happened a little quicker than you're really planning for it happening. And so that's unfortunate there. And I know we had a false start one time on a 3rd and 5 that put us in a 3rd and 10, and so we cannot have that. That's a communication issue that we got to be better at. And so again, things that we got to continue to just assess them all as a whole and see. Some of them are just going to be part of playing the game, and some of them we can certainly clean up, and we got to assess where they all fall into.
Kind of that, and expanding off that, like there are reasons some things that were strengths of the roster last year might not have carried over into this year.
I think we have a really good football team, and we just got to find a way to get wins here. We're on a 3-game stretch now. Where we haven't found a way to do that. We had a great stride going into these 3 games. And so, again, that's kind of how the NFL season goes. You're going to hit stretches, and you got to find a way to overcome them and regroup. And I told these guys Monday Night Football is the perfect opportunity to be able to put your best foot forward and change the narrative of what's happened these last couple of weeks. And I've got confidence this team will rebound the right way this week and put in the work they need to.
There was a flag call, Zach, on their only touchdown. What did you see on that play? And did you get any communication as to why they picked up the holding call?
The initial call was holding, and then they decided it wasn't holding. So that's really all there is to it.
Is it even more frustrating when some of the same themes continue to happen on the defensive side of the ball, whether it be explosive plays and shoring up the run defense?
I mean, they keep points off the board. That's what we want. And to hold them to 3 points in the first half, I feel like offensively we can do more on that first drive, the second half, to build a 10-3 lead or 14-3 lead maybe, and then the defense can really play the style of ball that they want to play. And so, again, we'll assess the performance by everybody and what we need to continue to improve on. I saw some really positive things from our defense tonight as well.
Especially with the fact of how bad our offense always is, where they go 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. At some point, well, yes, I agree that we should not be giving up these crazy big plays in the 3rd and 14s and, the crazy plays down the field. But at some point, you got to just look at the fact that if you're a defense, you can't go out there the whole entire game and shut a team out 0-0. We are in 2023 here. It's not many times a team can get shut out 0-0 in a game. So it really comes down to at some point your defense is going to break. I always say it's bend don't break on our defense. But at some point, it's like, okay, you're going to break because you can't be out there the whole entire 60 minutes and expect to win the game playing just defense. You can't. That's not going to work. You're going to have to do something on offense.
You'd say the game turned a bit in their favor, that interception.
Well, I think just the turnover battle in general is something we preached all week. And we ended in a tie. We had the lead in halftime. You got to find a way to get one out on defense or special teams. That was a big part of it, so that factors in as well. And we just got to do a great job protecting the ball.
How much was kind of what you wanted to call similar to what you would had Joe been able to play?
Well, it's a hard question to answer because sometimes when you play these divisional opponents, the whole game shifts. These are some of the best defenses in the NFL when you play the 3 teams in our division, and so you got to play a certain way against these teams. So, we didn't have Joe this week, so I didn't game plan with Joe. So I can't really answer that question. Just know that we got to be situational sound. We got to win the turnover battle. Can't have the penalties that we had today in order to win games like this.
And I'll tell you right now, there probably would have been no difference in the play calls if we would have had Joe Burrow in there. Because we saw with Joe Burrow in there the last couple weeks, last 4 or 5 weeks with Joe Burrow in there, and the play calls have been the same. It's been the same situations. We can't run the ball. We have to pass the ball. We can't pass the ball. We go 3 and out. We get the ball back to our defense. Our defense has to be Superman and save us week in, week out. It's every single week at this point. Like, even with Joe in there, the game plan was still the same. So I don't think the game plan was really any different. It was a mediocre offense game plan. It was very vanilla offense. And it was, okay, let's just try not to lose this game. And that pretty much was all it was. And obviously, Jake Browning's interception did not help.
Logan got nicked up at the end there,
I think ankle, don't know the severity of it. Again, there was only a couple plays left in the game, so unknown whether or not he could have come back.
Big picture-wise, how big of a dent does this put into what you want to do, where you want to go?
Yeah, we have to move our focus forward. There's nothing we can do to change this one, and it's important that these guys and I trust that they will. The leadership's going to continue to step up. These guys are going to remain close. Our attention to detail has got to continue to be sharp, and just find ways to win in December. And that's This team has shown the ability to do that in the past. And again, I assume that we're going to play a lot of teams coming forward that have a lot of adversity of their own, whether it's injuries or whatever it is. So again, no one's sitting around feeling sorry for ourselves. We got to pull ourselves up, and we got to find a way to get wins coming down here in the stretch, and that starts Monday night.
How do you think Jake managed the aggressiveness part of the game, knowing when to take shots, when to check the ball down?
Yeah, I thought he made some great throws that allowed us to move the ball down the field, and so again, that's all going to be part of the experience process with him. The more he gets to play, the more comfortable he's going to be. They had that's one of the better defensive lines in the NFL, and so they pose a lot of issues, and the truth of it is when you get behind and they get to really play to their strengths, that becomes a challenge. And for a guy in his first start, we got to do a great job taking that pressure off of him and finding a way to play with the lead.
Yeah, I guess my final takeaway from this game is, man, it sucks. It really does suck because I feel like we could have won this game. I feel like we played piss poor on offense, and I feel like it's the same exact thing we've been talking about every single week, over and over and over again. And the play calling's not getting better. It's not. I mean, there are times where the play calling looked a little better because I think Joe has been able to masquerade a lot of this poor play calling. But even then, I mean, the play calling in general is not better. And it's not going to get better because it's going to be the same old system. Brian Callahan said it himself, and he said it best when he said, we're not going to change our offense. We're not going to change the system. We're going to do the same thing we've been doing. And it's going to keep going forever. Until eventually, again, coaches get fired. And that's pretty much the sad part of it, but that's part of life, When teams don't win, coaches get fired, people get fired, and then new guys come in, and then things change. But we'll have to wait and see what ends up happening, guys. Tell me down below your thoughts and opinions. I'll see you guys next one.